Everybody, welcome. Hey, I just got asked, Jennifer just asked me if I have my dad joke. Of course I have my dad joke. I'm a dad. I've got it.
We have kept our dad jokes a secret from each other this time.
Don't know. We have no idea.
Yeah.
No idea, but it's going to be good.
Yep.
All right. Well, welcome those who are hanging out with us live. We were gone for 2 weeks. I know it's crazy.
It's been crazy.
We were gone doing a family camp and then COVID. Last week was
Don't
just...
we all love COVID?
Ugh.
So fun.
So gross.
Actually, that's the first time we've had it in our house.
I know.
We made it this long.
I tried to do everything.
We did pretty good.
Yeah, we did do pretty good. We did do good. Well, okay, so let's move some of this stuff around. I don't know why.
We got to get reacquainted. This feels like we're starting over.
I know, it kind of does.
It's
we're rusty.
Like,
but we are going to be even more mobile, and we'll talk about that in a few minutes as to why that is. Okay, so... Friends, you're listening to Eternal Impact's live stream with John and Jennifer Garrick. We are unapologetically lifting up the ways of Jesus, promote grace, and strive to learn, think, and live like Jesus Christ. We give that little disclaimer out because we just want to know. I mean, you're just hanging out. You're hanging out with us, and we created this venue so that we can have an opportunity to talk about what it means to live out the gospel and hang out with some of our friends digitally from around the world. And that's what we do.
Yeah, so send the text out now and get your friends on here with us.
Yeah,
send
them out.
The more people we have, the more fun it is.
Yeah, join it because we've got a great topic tonight. We're going to be talking about facing mountains and what that means, both in the physical as well as in our life spiritually and what we do. So, but the little disclaimer we always talk about, we just want to say we believe in a triune God who loves us and calls us to live out the good news where we live, work, and play. And we say that because, hey, you can't cancel us. We're just being honest. That's just how we feel. That's who we are. You don't have to agree with us. And the truth is you're welcome on the journey regardless because we love you. No matter what your theological framework and background is, you're welcome. You're welcome in this space. This is our digital home and we're loving you to be a part of it. So let us know where you're coming from. I'm trying to see we only got a couple people on there tonight. So jump on. If you're just seeing this coming through, please jump on. We want to be having you join us. We want that.
Yeah.
So
join the conversation. And of course, be sure and click that button, hit like, hit subscribe, and above all, if you like what we're doing, share with your friends and invite them to come and join us.
Yeah.
You know, and if they can't make it live, you know, you can always go on to the restream. But it's a lot more fun if you can be there live and making comments and interacting with us. We just love that.
Yep.
So share with your friends. Let's get the word out and grow this conversation, huh?
Yeah, we would love that.
Yeah.
And, you know, we have people that we get to connect with. I mean, digitally is awesome. We love that. But sometimes we even get to see them in person. Roxy. Roxy is on
People
actually
like
right
Roxy.
now. Let me see if I can get her comment up there. What did she say? Yes, she's in Malala this week. We're so happy. And it just so happens, Roxy, well, for the people that don't know, that are listening other than Roxy already knows this, but she was listening in Korea. That's right. Yeah, South Korea.
Yeah.
She was in South Korea. We're banned in North Korea, so couldn't be there. But she was listening in South Korea, and she won the book that night.
Yeah.
And we are so privileged that we get to see you tomorrow. She's coming.
She's come home to visit, so she's going to pick up her prize.
I should have had a copy of the book here, so I could have just showed her. But
So we get to see Roxy tomorrow morning and actually hand her book to her.
That's
we're looking forward to that, Roxy.
Yeah, very much excited. So, but she's in Malala this week, as she said. Hey, and Addie, I'm glad I'm doing better too. Thank you for that. Yeah, it was, you know, it's just sick. You know, I mean, that's what it is. I mean, it's not like...
It's like a head cold.
Yeah, I've been sicker. I mean, I don't wish it on anybody. I don't wish anyone to be sick. But, you know, it's not all that, but you know, everyone reacts differently to different things and there's different comorbidities and, but I am sure glad that I'm doing better as well. So
and
thank you.
I managed so far to not get it. In fact, this is the closest we've been in a week and a half or
so. It is. I know.
I told them we need
Can't
a
look.
shield like in between us, like cellophane or something. But
I don't know if I'm still COVID positive, but I just want to be kind not to let someone get a cold or sick.
And I really don't want to get it. So far, so good.
Yeah. So anyway, enough of that, but that's why we missed last week and, that's the way it is. So anyway, keep coming, folks. Keep you're going to have questions. We're going to be throwing out some questions tonight when we're talking about facing mountains. Some of those questions will be about literally what you do to prep when you hike or go on a mountain. But some of them are going to be, and most of them, around what it means spiritually. And there's a parallel to that. It's a metaphor really for what it's like for when we face mountains, and we do and we will. So we're going to talk about that. But hey, quick highlight of what's going on. There's so many exciting things going on. Oh, now I'm not on my A game, because I am still kind of got the congestion thing going.
That COVID brain.
Yeah,
thing.
COVID
That's
brain.
A real thing,
man. But I did have my last cough drop just now. So sadly, I don't have any more. So I'm going to plow through this. But I do have my water.
Okay.
So anyway, but hey, wanted to let you know some of the things going on. First of all, we were at Christian Renewal Center doing the family camp. Just had a great time. I don't know if anyone from the family camp is on tonight, but if you are, please let us know that you were.
We loved our time with you.
Yeah, it's been really fun, and just connecting with those people. I actually, one of those people from that camp scheduled an appointment coaching session with me next week, and they're going to be coming driving here to Oregon City to spend a little time, and I think a couple of people. Actually, there's two of them that are.
Yeah, looking forward to that.
Yeah, so really fun. We always love that when we can be face to face and encouraging people, coaching them around their spiritual formation.
And hopefully you enjoyed last week's show when we highlighted CRC.
Yeah,
and
Tim and Julie, sweet people,
wonderful people to hang out with. So well done, guys.
Yeah, so that was a great camp, and we're glad to be back. And we encourage you, if you're looking for a place to take your family just to spend a week, man, I didn't really know what to expect. And we've done so many camps and so much stuff, but I had never spoke at a CRC camp. This was the first time they invited us to do the teaching, and just really beautiful people, just really sweet. And it's just a really nice time to unplug. There's no internet. That's why we had to record the show ahead, or we would have had to drive into town. So anyway, just a real gift. Check them out, CRC, and that'll be a privilege for you to next year to get away. And they have stuff in the winter, as well.
It's open year round. There's lots to do.
Cool. Also, big one.
Shiloh Homestead. Yes. We have gone live.
We have.
Finally, those applications are out there. If you know any young men between the ages of 19 and 27 that are looking for affordable housing in a Christian atmosphere, let us know. We will send the packet to you. You can forward that on to those young men. We really hope to have we have 4 spots still.
Yep, 4 spots. 3 spots left, I think, as of yesterday. 3 spots left, but we're still accepting applications.
Still accepting those, and we hope to have them all filled by September 1st, which is going to be here before we know it.
Yeah, and I'm scrolling through, just so you know, I got on the screen going right now, just so people will see, not that you're reading it, because we will post it. As a matter of fact, why don't you go ahead and do that? She's going to post it in the show notes or in the comments, so that everyone just got it. So whether you're watching live or whether you're getting in a restream, it'll be on there so that you can go, because it's just a PDF, but it's online, so you can just click it, and it's got all the details, applications, everything from what the code of conduct is to the rental, everything, all that stuff. And then, of course, at the end's an application for you to be able to have. But really just want people to know that it's there. I mean, obviously, I'm just showing you, it's just on there. It's also posted on, I think, both of our Facebook pages, I believe. Yes. So so you can get it on there. There's a little ad that went out yesterday, I think, announcing there's 3 spots left. Really, just in short, you guys, just pass the word. Go to that link that's on the Facebook page and just share it. Share it with other people. If there's any young man, especially in the Portland Metro, but I mean, they might be coming to go to school, whatever. It's not a halfway house for troubled teens or young 20-somethings. And
it isn't a program.
Yeah, it's really not a program.
It's just a good place to live with Christian brothers.
It's affordable housing, but because it is our home and we're renting it out per room, we had the leeway, which is one of the reasons the lawyer had to get all the legalese and everything done there. We run it because it's our home, individual rooms. There are codes of conduct. It's not just like, a free-for-all. It's a community. So you get to, have like-minded values and a Christ-like focus and brothers in Christ. And it is all guys. We did that purposely just because Sam is, our son, and he's going to be resident director. And just having all guys, he was the one that really said, man, I'd really like to have a band of brothers, to kind of do stuff. So anyway, there it is.
It's a great opportunity.
Yeah. So. Shiloh Homestead. It's going to get rented, all rooms. So please look on our Facebook page and then share that. Just share that. And that's great. Hey, I just saw a pop on here. Mom, yeah, she is. Congratulations.
Yes.
Hey, watching from Ocean Park, know that you just finished up your treatments for your cancer treatments and radiation, and it just thrills us.
Thrilled that you're done with that.
So happy, and I've been praying with you in that journey, and we love you, and we're just so grateful that that part is over. We know there's some residual effects and all that you process through, but we're on that journey with you too, and we love you. So thanks.
The strength up again.
Yeah, thanks for being with us tonight. I just saw your comment throw up there. Yeah, and I wanted to make sure to say hi. Okay, so some other exciting news that's really as of today. I mean, literally, I just signed the papers.
Hot off the press.
And got it done. So tell them what we got going.
We finally found a trailer.
Yes.
Our fifth wheel. And it wasn't next door, let me tell you. This thing is all the way over in Wyoming. But God is to be praised because his fingerprints are all over this. And so we had been praying that it would be very evident that it was God who put it together, that it wasn't us forcing a square peg into a round hole, which we tried to do that a couple of times.
We did.
And just didn't have peace about it. But this one it's the answer to our prayers. So we're so excited.
Yeah, it is cool. And here's the deal. People keep asking, okay, so what exactly are you doing? What exactly, why are you doing this? We're just going to give you a quick, many of you already know, but we're just giving you a quick update. And if you don't know, it's because you don't want to know, because we've said it so many times.
We're trying to tell everyone.
Yeah. So basically we are preparing to develop a retreat home for pastors and leaders where they can come, and instead of us going to them, they come to us and spend a week. And in that process, we give them what's called guided respite and some coaching. And so we welcome them to get rest and to get refreshed and to get restored into their first love spiritually and into the calling that's on their life, whether they're working as a Campus Crusade director or Young Life or Fellowship of Christian Athletes or youth pastor, or they're shepherding a church or a home church, whatever it is. We're going to welcome them and just love them, listen to them, and serve them. So
what does that have to do with the trailer?
Yeah, well, the thing that's important is that people know that is the track that we're on, which means we're not going to do it here in Oregon City. We're going to be doing it in a destination location, which means we need to be freed up and agile and mobile to be able to spend the next 2 years working and prototyping and preparing and doing retreats. We have 2 of them scheduled just in the next 2 months. But we're going to be doing them at borrowed locations. Yeah. And this RV gives us a chance to fully rent out our house. So financially it's taken care of and it's being used. And then we just finished an RV pad on our property. And when we're home, now we have an RV and a truck that we will bring it and just be here in Oregon City, except live in the RV pad. But
usually the kids leave the nest, but we left the kid and we are leaving the nest.
Exactly. And I did say we'd live on the RV pad. That's actually in the RV, not to think we're just laying on the pad.
That depends on your behavior.
Interesting. All right. So anyway, that's the scoop. And you're going to be finding out and hearing a lot more, because we're going to be doing live stream and updating you live from a lot of different places, from Hawaii, from New Zealand, from Central Oregon, from Sisters, from there's just a lot of places. Yeah. So you'll be hearing more, but be ready. And that's what's going on. People say, well, why are you getting a trailer? That's it. And
just trying to be more mobile.
Yeah, trying to just answer the Lord's call on that, because it's going to take some time and we don't know the exact location. So we're just trying to make ourselves be available, step out in faith and trust the Lord in that way. So anyway, that's it. You're going to hear more. So let's dive into our subject matter, because you're going to find out so much more about the trailer, because we're going to be going live from that trailer probably in about 3 weeks, I'd say.
Wow. Hard to believe.
Yeah. Crazy.
Yeah.
All right.
Well,
So you want to give a quick shout out? Thanks
I do.
to.
Of course I do. You know, all of this that we talk about, we have to give thanks first to God, but also to our sponsors and to Eternal Impact. Without you, none of this would be happening. Quite literally. And so we so appreciate you. And we just encourage you to share with others what we're doing that might appreciate that vision and have that same affinity for what we have going on. And we just want to thank you for being a part of the journey with us and partnering with us.
Yeah, really good. I mean, when we're at a camp speaking to and serving these families, when people are coming to meet with us, when we're going and traveling and doing retreats, and this live stream, everything. I mean, we couldn't do it unless God's graciousness being manifested through people like you. And so our support team, we just want to say thank you to all those that support Eternal Impact. It's awesome.
Genuine.
All right. Well, we usually do a flashback, right? We do to the previous show, but because last week's was recorded.
We don't want to flashback to COVID.
We don't want to flashback to COVID, but we do want to flashback 2 weeks. And that was the one that was recorded by Christian Renewal Center. And so we thought this was a highlight. This was something that when we reviewed, I spoke 6 times. I think it was 6 times and Jennifer spoke once too, which was,
a whole 15 minutes.
Hey, it was good. It was really good. And, we're flashing back to that experience at the retreat. And one of the things that came out, here's one of the things that multiple people talked to us about. And because I started out the retreat reminding them that God is fond of you. And I'm not sure that we don't use that word a lot, but that was really, I built on that for a week. And I want to remind the listeners, those that are on right now and listening in the restream, God really is fond of you. I mean, he loves you deeply, far beyond than I could articulate in the English language that I have, but I'm telling you, when we see in scripture, everything that he's about, he is motivated by his love for us. When he breathes life into existence, it's motivated by his love for us. When he sent Christ, it said he was because he so much loved this cosmos, his creation and all that he had done. He loves us. But here's what I want you to know. He's really fond of you. I mean, he's really fond of you. And it's having an affection or a liking for. It's not just like, well, he loves because God is love and he has no choice and he's got to love because he's love, at an essence of who he is and his being. But the reality is, no, he chooses to love us and he really likes you. He's very fond of you. It doesn't mean he always likes the things that we do. I mean, hadn't always liked the things my kids have done. But man, I am so fond of them. I love them so much and I like them. I like to be with them. So I just want us this idea of fondness, if we could use that word in the English language, it helps us today because he doesn't just love us. He has an affection for us. It's an affectionate love that he has for us and he enjoys us and he delights in us. And just like, if you say to someone, I'm very fond of you, it's more than just, oh, I love you, unconditional love because I have to, or because
you can love ice cream.
Yeah, because of my being, but it really is an affection. Because I can have an affection for ice cream. Don't use that example. I mean, I have a deep affection for ice cream. But you know what I'm saying. So I just want to say that was really, a lot of people responded back to us in that. Yeah. And there was something about that word when I was expressing to them of God's fondness for them. So my flashback, instead of a flashback in the show, we'll just flashback to that retreat. And I just want to remind you of that. And so wherever you are, whatever you're experiencing right now, I want you to write the word down. Just write down the word fond and be thinking about that and thinking about how fond a triune God is of you and how many ways he either has expressed that or wants to express that, wants to be tender, wants to be affectionate with you, wants you to know of his fondness and experience his fondness. So think about that. And that's my flashback from the CRC family retreat. And that'll be great. So I want to remind people, because sometimes we get a lot of stalkers, you know what I mean? I see the numbers going up and I see people coming, and welcome. We want to welcome you wherever you're coming from. Please let us know. Put it in the comments. For those that don't know, we can see the comments, even if other people can't see all of the comments that are there. Some people might be on a Facebook platform. Some people might be on Twitter. Some people might be on YouTube, but we see them all coming through. So, just like boom, right there. Okay, that even just popped up. Cora, hey, nice to have you with us. So glad you're back among us after COVID. Yes, I agree. Thank you. Others were saying that earlier too, and I am very happy. I'm not quite 100%.
But you're getting
there, but I'm getting there. And Jennifer still, we have this, this thing. We're only looking this way. Don't get my germs. But anyway, thank you. So put on there where you're coming from, and know that when we're asking questions, we're not asking them to the ether. We're actually asking them of you. So
don't be shy.
Yeah, don't be shy. Put your comments in there, and you may have an insight, something that the Lord is putting on your heart, or just any insight. Just put it through and share it with others. Because as a live stream, if you're not listening this on the restream and you are listening this Thursday nights between 6 and 7, it's interactive. It's an opportunity for you to hang out and to share with us. So anyway, thanks again for being with us. I see the numbers of people out there in flux and growing. So please take an opportunity to hang in, engage the conversation, give a comment, and it's always welcomed, and we moderate it. If you say John, your dad plaid shirt just is really lame. We won't put that one on. We'll just ignore that. But hey, this is a new shirt. This is dad plaid. What do you think? Huh? It's looking pretty good. I like it. All right. Hey, Glenn, I got to see Glenn today. Isn't this so cool? Some of these people, I'm seeing, there's people on here from all over the world, but I got to see Glenn. Just says, hi guys, Glenn. And I got to see Glenn the first time in so long. And I got to be honest, I really wanted to give him a hug and say how you doing, but I didn't because I'm like, nope, I love you. COVID, I'm not gonna.
I'll bet Glenn didn't mind that.
No, he didn't. He's like, no, don't hug me. I'm not a hugger. But anyway, so is really cool. So fun to see you on there as well, Glenn. Well, hey, we want to dive into our topic tonight, and our topic is facing mountains. Yeah. And what we're going to talk about tonight is not necessarily climbing the mountain, not necessarily scaling the mountain, but we really want to talk about what happens in our lives when we're faced with mountains. And I know that Jennifer and I are and have been, and I know, I'm just looking through the thread here, different people that come. I know not all, I know many of the people that I'm seeing come through there, have been facing mountains or are currently facing mountains where you're not scaling them, you're not going through it, but you're just facing it. And we want to talk about some things that we do when in the physical. We were supposed to do Mount Adams, unfortunately, last weekend. My body did not agree with that, and so we didn't. You got to go on a hike, though. Where'd you go?
Well, I didn't summit it, but I went on to Mount Hood and did tackle 11 and a half miles with my friend Stephanie, and we had a great time.
Paradise? Is that the Paradise Trail?
We went to Paradise Park.
Okay.
Yep, first time there, and it was beautiful, and I do plan to go back.
Cool.
But yeah, we had some mountains to face on that hike. Not quite Mount Adams, but it was a challenging hike for sure. It's fun.
Yeah, it's cool. Mm-hmm. Well, thanks, by the way. And we're seeing other people coming in and saying hello. We just want to say hi to you real quick. Oh, by the way, Cora, very good. That's funny. He was alone for a long time. He needs reinforcing. The shirt looks great. Oh, yes, positive reinforcement. Thank you. That's right. People out there like my dad plaid.
You're rocking the dad plaid.
I am looking good. Oh, we love you too, Lulu.
Hi, Lulu.
Hey, good to see you out on the peninsula of Washington, Long Beach. Fun to have you. Lots of lots of exciting things going on with all you guys too. So, all right. Well, make sure to put comments as you have been. Keep doing that. But facing mountains. So let's talk about that, honey. When we go, we do some things. We do stuff to get ready when we're going out on a big one, whether it's Broken Top or whatever.
When we're physically hiking.
Yeah, physically hiking.
Yeah.
So you made some notes of some things, and then we've been kind of talking about them in the spiritual. They kind of parallel as to what we do. So what are some of them? Walk us through, and then we'll chat about it.
Yeah, and then while we're sharing, feel free if you have strategies that you've used that get you through facing your mountains, put them in the comments, and then towards the end of our little talk here, we'll rally back around and talk about your comments.
I think the way you said that was so motherly. Our little talk here. Our little talk here. We're gonna have a little talk here. It's like, yes, mother.
Okay. Whatever.
Okay. That was cute.
Okay.
All right.
So some of the things that we do when we're preparing, like when we were preparing to tackle Mount Adams, I mean, that is a legit mountain.
Yeah.
And it was quite intimidating, truly. But as I was writing down those things that I do to prepare for a physical hike, a lot of those could correlate with preparing for a spiritual climb that we face. And one of them is I never hike alone. I always hike with a buddy or two or three or more. It's misery loves company.
So does celebration.
Yeah. When you get to the top, you have someone to celebrate with. You need somebody on that journey. And so, if you're going to tie that in spiritually, community is vital. When you're facing mountains in your life, you don't want to face them alone. Nobody wants to face them alone. And so look for a battle buddy, even if it's just one that's committed to going on the journey with you.
Yeah. No, I think that's huge. And I think that's something that we've got to be thinking about when it comes coming out of COVID. We're seeing so many leaders in particular that just aren't in community. Right. Many of them are in gathering, they're like in venues, and they're coming back together. But community where it's like, man, they know me, they know the path we're on, they know what we're facing. They say, you know what, we're gonna do it together. We're gonna go on this together, and we need that in the body of Christ. And it'd be interesting, I'm sure that there's those that are out there. If you're commenting, just those areas of your life that are critical for you to have a battle buddy or community. I have a friend that's doing the Pacific Coast Trail for a few weeks. He's a pastor, a friend of mine up in Canada who's coming down, and he's going by himself. Okay, he is going by himself. Yeah. But I think the important thing that is interesting that there are times when, we're going to have to face the mountain on our own.
Right.
But he has let people know when, where he's going to be.
Checking in.
Yeah, he's brought people around, even though he's got to face this mountain on this situation. He's got to do it on his own. He's checks in. He has got his checkpoints, and he's got people that are knowing his GPS, where he's going to be, all those kind of things. So he's not, even though there are times when yes, we are on the trail and scaling the mountain alone, we don't do it alone. He's prepared and has others, checking in with him, which kind of gets us to what are some of the other things you do when you prepare, training for a hike, things like that? Training
all summer long. We've been doing, building up our hiking stamina for Mount Adams. So what does that look like spiritually? And John and I were kind of chewing on this one for a little while, and it's being faithful with the small things. So the Lord gives us opportunities kind of to test us and see if we're faithful with the smaller things, trusting Him, stepping forward and letting Him lead. So using those easier opportunities to learn from those. Training can also look like those spiritual disciplines, where you're in the habit of praying regularly. You're in His Word regularly. You're hiding that Word in your heart. All of that is training and equipping you to be better in the battle. to come. Do you have any other thoughts on training?
Yeah, I mean, I think that in what we're talking about is faithful in the small things prepares you for facing the bigger challenges, right? And I think that, Mount Adams, for instance, we've done South Sisters in Central Oregon or, Broken Top or whatever. I mean, those are big hikes. Those aren't like, hey, what are you doing tomorrow? Now, some people, there are some people that are just specimens
for us. Those are big hikes.
Yeah, I mean, there's some people I have friends. It's like, hey, it's Thursday. Let's go, hike Mount Adams. Run up to I mean, seriously, they can do it. I have one friend. I don't know if he's on here. I can't see if they're on there, but we have some friends. Lauren, if you're on here, you know what I'm talking about.
We're talking about you, Lauren.
But I mean, he is a machine, and he does 100 miles. These runs.
But he does that because he's been training.
Exactly. It's so true. And thank you. Nice segue. Yeah. And you don't just go out and do it. Now, he could do it, but he's trained. Yeah. He's faithful in the small stuff. Getting up, doing the workouts, doing what he needs to do, preparing, building up. And the same thing for us. I mean, I guess that you asked any other thoughts. It's really that. It's that be faithful in those small things, knowing that he is going to be faithful with us. As we draw near to him, he draws near to us, it says in James. And when it comes to facing the mountain, know that there's practice we can do in our day-to-day sacred, mundane things that build us and prepare us for that. So I think that's the one, train. So you said also chart my course. Talk about what you meant by that.
Yeah, so anytime I decide I want to go somewhere, the first thing that I do, of course, is to pull up my All Trails app, and I look to see, well, how far is this? What is the elevation gain? How do I get to the starting point? And I have to chart my course, and I study everything that's involved, especially in some of those more difficult hikes, because I want to go prepared. So I do my best to understand everything that I'm going to be facing. And so spiritually, we do that by seeking scripture. When we're looking at a mountain that we're facing, we want to find and hear godly counsel from others. So that's where that community and that fellowship really plays a vital role. You have to have people around you that you can hear from them and godly counsel. And then the leadership of the Holy Spirit helps you navigate
which takes
your course.
Obviously time and intentionality and seeking him. It's not like, we'll just listen to the Lord. It's like there's an intentionality in that. So just so you understand, when you're hiking like something like Mount Adams, for instance, there's different gear that you have to have. I mean, there's different kinds of stuff. Do you have a sleeping mat? Do you have Sub-Zero? Like when you're doing Adams, you could go up and you're in a t-shirt and by the afternoon, and then as you get to the top, and your tennis shoes, you get to the top and you're sleeping and it's 5 degrees, outside or 20 degrees, let's say 20 degrees. And then you may get up, you leave your tent there, and then you start hiking to summit the next day and you're in 0 degree wind chill. And you've got to have, your puffies, your parkas, your snow gear. You got to have a ice axe. You got to have crampons, which are, the spikes that you put on the bottom of your shoes, because you're getting up. So those are that's just a reality. There's different things. You got to train differently. We didn't have to do any of that stuff when we just did South Sisters. We just hiked in the day and got there and then got back at night, 12 hours later.
Charting your course.
Yeah. So no one's situation's the same. And none of our situations are the same. And that's why it is important. Check the All Trails, seek the scripture, that's how we train.
Talk to people who have been on that journey
before.
Chart
that course. Chart that course.
Get advice from people who have been down that road before.
Which you do in All Trails too. I mean, when you're doing the thing, you look and see what other people that have just been through that experience, what they've done, anything they would learn. We can do that. I had a mentor that said one time, he said, John, you're going to make enough of your own stupid mistakes. Don't make mine. I'm like, okay, well, he was right on the stupid part. I made plenty, but he is also right in the sense that his love and his care to share with me experiences he had and let me choose not to make those was huge. That's huge. So chart your course. That's good. Chart your course.
And kind of along with that same, we've kind of touched on it a little bit. I have to pack accordingly. So we talked about you need poles, you need the right equipment in order to make your journey successful. So what does that look like spiritually? You know, you don't want to leave out your nourishment and refreshment. So hydration and your food is critical, especially if you're doing a difficult mountain. So spiritually, meditation and contemplative prayer, reflection on what is true, you know, writing things down. If the Lord has given you promises, especially if he's given you a word before you start into your mountain climbing, you're going to need to reflect back on those words, because the going's going to get tough and you're going to have something to go back to and hold on to. So those promises from God are going to act like an anchor. And, that's probably not a good analogy when you're hiking a mountain.
Yeah, not the anchor.
No,
yeah,
we don't want anchors.
You want that.
It's gonna help boost you up that mountain.
There you go.
It's not an anchor.
You know, and you're good at this, Jennifer, as a journaler. I'm not. I regret it. But there are other ways that we journal. We journal in life. Like, for instance, even when we're packing, okay, we're putting things together, we will forget things if we don't have a list. We use an app called To Do, I think is what we use. Right. And it's a shared app. So if I add to it, it shows on her phone, vice versa. So that we add through the list so that once it gets packed, we take it off. We don't, we know it's done. Those are important, because ahead of time, you need to reflect and remember that God's going to be faithful with you as you move forward. So as you're facing these mountains, we got to remember, you and I are, as humans, we are just, in our nature, we're forgetters. We're just perpetually forgetting. That's why Jesus, especially my wife and her car keys, but I'm not going to talk about that. But the reality is, even Jesus, why did he put communion in? First, we had all the festivals and the word's slipping for me, festivals and the tabernacle. Thank you, tabernacle and the temple, and then in the New Testament at Passover, what does he do? He brings in communion, the Lord's Supper, the Eucharist, because why? Remember, do this in remembrance of me, because we're forgetters. And so that's why we put those things in, to help us remember. So as we're making lists, sometimes we have to go back to some of those lists that are in the scripture or in our life and go, yeah, that's right. God, he's faithful there. That's where, okay.
And I've used my journal to reflect on past challenges that God has gotten me through. And I had written down all my discouragements. I had written down all my answers to prayer. I'd written down everything. And it was so encouraging to go back and see that he helped me summit and get over that particular mountain. So that gave me the courage to face the one that that was before me. So those, if you're a journal person, they're great. You understand. If you journal, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah,
for sure.
And you have reams and reams of journaling like I do.
And she does. I've seen them. Well, a couple of you guys have made some comments on that. It's really good.
Yeah, let's circle around
Chris, thank you. That was good. Definitely focus on the promises of God.
Yeah.
That is true. Yeah. Another cancer survivor, by the way,
she's
Chris.
Had some mountains to climb too.
Praise the Lord for that. But yes, I mean, because there are times when it gets overwhelming, you're looking at what there is, you're facing it before you, and you want those promises, because I need those. I have to remember, it's like, oh yeah, you promised, yeah, for sure. So good. And then we're reminded, Corey even reminded us, that being focused on the challenges helps me to prepare. That's right. Not to be overwhelmed by them, not to worry, because we're not worried. We're told not to worry about the challenges that are ahead, but to understand them so that our eyes are fixed not on the problem, but on the problem solver, Christ.
Right.
And he can be able to help us as we're evaluating that. So that's good. And then, of course, Melissa said, have a little talk with Jesus. So true. That was a little earlier on when we were talking about, what we need to do. And for sure, and clearly, that's it. And sometimes, Mom, this is true too. You can comment on it if you wish, but sometimes they're big talks with Jesus. Yeah. They are, man, I need to take some time. I need to hear his voice. Everything's so noisy. Everything is going so wild that I got to just take some time and listen to this triune God who loves me and is fond of me.
That's part of the refreshment, pausing to be refreshed again and again and again. I can't tell you on this last hike how many of those little energy cubes I consumed, because I was like, okay, I know we've got a big climb. I see it up ahead and I'm getting tired. So I get out one of those little energy chews and off we go. I must have done that 5 or 6 times to get me through some of those climbs.
What did they do before energy chews? I mean, it kind of sounds like a dog snack.
Coffee. I don't know.
It's like, the pioneers came across the mountain. Hey, Lewis and Clark, where are your energy cubes? I mean, I need an energy cube.
I'm grateful we have them now.
Yeah,
me
too.
Me.
Hey, and Chris reminds us is exactly one step at a time.
And that's
so
on
true.
Here too.
Yep.
Pace.
Well, let's talk about that. Let's talk about that on the pace.
Yeah. Well, first, but you want to make sure you start out fresh, right? I never go on a hike in the middle of the day. It's the hottest time. I'm, half of my energy's already gone. You always start fresh in the morning. It's cool. You've had a good rest. So you want to be rested so you're clear-headed and taking it, making rash decisions with a clear mind.
Not making rash decisions. Yeah.
Not making rash decisions.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we do it so we can make rash decisions. That's when we make them best in the morning. Give me a rash decision. No.
But pacing yourself, sometimes, and I think, Corey, you were like, if I just stay focused on this challenge. For me, I'll get too focused on the challenge sometimes. And so much so that I forget that I have to stop. So I don't know if any of you are like me. I'll get so busy in whatever the task is at hand that I'll forget to eat. I'll forget to do the things that I need to do to keep my energy going. And it's like a sprint and I poop out. These hikes, they're not a sprint, they're a marathon. And if I don't pace myself, I won't be able to accomplish as much. So spiritually, we're going to get tired. We do get tired. And it's okay to pause and rest and just replenish a little. Pace yourself. You can allow yourself to go through the journey. You're learning a lot and God's growing you through this. So don't rush through. Let him set the pace and follow his lead in that. And if he tells you to sit still and just rest. It's okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Not to veer off from our things. We only got a few minutes left, but I mean, when we were at CRC, Christian Renewal Center, and I was speaking at family camp a couple weeks ago, man, we have been going so busy. I just really and I was doing some sermon prep, and I was like, I just fell asleep. I had no guilt about it.
3 days.
Yeah.
We would kind of doze off and take naps. We never take naps.
Yeah. It's just, I was so tired, and sometimes we just gotta rest. And my personality and who I am, I'm not the best at that. So God's helping me continue. I guess the older I get, then maybe the better I'm getting at that. But either way, it's good. That's a good word. Pace is important. And it's okay to rest. And that's on the way too, because I think that's where Jesus is talking. It's like, my yoke is my burden is light. My yoke is easy. You shouldn't be, you see the mountain, you got to scale it. He's there, but we remember he's the one. He's the mountain mover. It's not me. He's the mountain mover. He's the one. So we can rest in him. We can just turn that over to him. Otherwise, we can be so focused on what we have to scale, it begins to overwhelm us and it consumes us. And sometimes my personality in particular, but people's personality can be like, well, I'm just going to do this. I'm just going to, I'm just going to go. And it's like, no, I really need the Spirit of God leading me.
And it's hard.
Yeah.
I find it really hard to make myself stop and just rest in God for a while and let him, take care of me a little bit and refresh me. It's hard to stop and do that.
Yeah.
Quieting my mind, it's hard. So I asked the Lord to quiet my mind for me because I can't really do it on my own.
Yeah. Well, we only got a couple minutes, so let me talk about, you said on here, you said document the journey. Talk about that. What do you mean by that when you say document the journey? You mean more journaling or prompts? What do you think?
For me, when I'm thinking about hiking, I'm taking pictures along the way. I want to remember the work that's been accomplished. I want to pause and take in the view every once in a while. And I want to remember it tomorrow, when I go and look at it the next day. I want to reflect on that. So spiritually, you can take pictures of things that have happened in your life. I mean, we talked about the fact that the Facebook memories that pop up sometimes act as a photo journal for your past. But again, that journaling, being able to reflect on the highs and the lows that you've experienced, because you're going to want to go back and remember
Yeah,
the
and
journey.
and that is critical. I just want to remind us out there in this journey that we've got when we're facing, mountains. Remember what happened even when Joshua, when they crossed the Jordan River and they got everyone to the other side. And before they went, and they still had a journey. They still had a journey to go. They had centuries and generations to go on that. But they stopped. And what did they do? They gathered rocks and built an altar. And as a reminder, it's like, because they needed to remember, that was their journal, right? So that, what did he say? Joshua said, so that the generations will look back and remember this time, God's faithfulness. And we need that. We need those Ebenezers. We need those things in our life. So I like what you're saying, and I think it's important. There's ways that we can document things even now. We're not, it may be rocks. I mean, you can build altars. I know we've done that, just things as reminders, planted a tree, did different things that were reminders of God's faithfulness. He infused the rainbow. I'm taking the rainbow back, by the way. No other movement gets the rainbow. Yeah, reclaim the rainbow, because it's a beautiful, bright reminder of God's faithfulness. And that's what I think of when I see the rainbow, and really whatever context. I just say, wow, that's a great reminder of God's promises. And so anyway, those reminders that we need, and I like that, because we do want to journal. And again, sometimes they're in pictures. I know we're reviewing right now little memory boxes all the time, seeing pictures of the kids when they're younger and all, comparing them to our granddaughters, all that. You're just documenting along the years, and you go back. So spiritually, it's important to do that too. And because we want to look back and say, oh yeah, that's it. God gave me a beautiful time in the midst. He got me over a mountain that I thought I'd never be able to get over, or a valley I never thought I'd get through. And that's a gift. So
I think part of the journey too is not to focus too much on what's ahead. Keeping your eyes on the trail, and not just looking at that huge mountain and feeling defeated by it. Psalms 105 says, your word is a lamp to my feet, or a lamp to guide my feet, and a light for my path. That's not illuminating very far in advance. So, don't get caught up in the hugeness of it. What's that phrase? You eat an elephant one bite at a time. Yeah. You go one step at a time.
I think the comparison is on Psalm 119. We are, my son has this lot. He loves tools, and he bought this light, this big shop light. And when he saw it, he's so excited to show it to me. He's like, look at this thing. Look how bright it is. It's like, my corneas are burning, and he's got this thing going, but it's bright. I mean, it's a really bright, it's a floodlight, man. I mean, you can see across the yard with this thing. And we so much want that right now. We want the floodlight of God's leadership. But the reality is, because he loves us, because he's so fond of us, he knows what's best. And as he wants us to trust him, he gives us the lamp. The lamp, in the context that they were speaking of it 1,000 years ago, more than that, 3,000 when this was written, it was literally a lamp, just oil, and just a little lamp that they see to your feet. So it's a lamp in your feet and a light into your path. It's not a floodlight. So be thinking about that, even as you're preparing. Don't get too focused, as Jennifer said. Remember that he wants us to trust him for these steps as he walks us towards those mountains. Well, what's one last thing that you were thinking of?
When you reach the top, celebrate. I always do. I have a little habit of taking my Starbucks coffee.
Yes, you do.
And I drink my little Starbucks coffee.
The canned
one at the top. And that actually motivates me to get to the top, because I love my Starbucks coffee.
Wow. I thought it was just to be with me and the Creator.
You're along with me, and we have it together.
It's Starbucks.
But celebrate, and realize what the Lord has helped you accomplish. And it's okay to feel good about that.
Yes.
And just relish in it for a while. He has got you through the storm. He has got you up that mountain. Thank him. There's been a lot of times we've paused at the top of a mountain and just praised the Lord for a little while, because I didn't die on the way up. And I'm really grateful because I thought I was going to a few times.
Well, we got to wrap up our discussion for today, but I know that you guys have mountains you've scaled too. I just am seeing different faces and different people on here, and I'm like, I can't help but even think of Rebecca Bertram's on there, and I just can't, thank the Lord enough for the journey that she's been through over this last few months, and that she's coming on the other side of that. And we talked about it a little bit earlier, but all of us have been that. Chris, all the years, and it's way past 5 years remission. And so praise the Lord for that. And I can go through my own life and the lives of friends as I'm just reflecting and thinking, it's like God is so gracious. He's just so kind. So listen, we know that it is not easy when we are faced with these mountains. And it's important. So, a cool comment here on there. I know some of you guys are seeing on the thread. I just want to, throwing it up there. It says, conquered my mountains and celebrated with my friends last night with Lulu. So
there's that battle buddy.
Battle buddy, celebration, everything. See, she's a good mentor. Yeah. So that's an example.
From the best.
You did. And so the reality is, as we wrap up our time today, here's what I want you to know. Whether you're on the restream or whether you're live, I want you to be reminded that he is fond of you. He cares deeply about you. He knows that the mountain is overwhelming. Okay. When we look at it, it can be overwhelming, but we also know he's the God of the overwhelming. He is the transformer. He is the one that can move the mountains, and he certainly can empower us to scale them, because he wouldn't call us to it if he wasn't going to empower us to do it. And so I'm reminded of Psalm 25, and I just want to leave this with you. Psalm 25, it's one that I've been meditating on and trying to just bring this section of it, verse 4 and 5, to my, to memory. But it's, show me your ways, Lord. Teach me your paths. Guide me in your truth and teach me. There's a lot. Think about that. It's just, show me your ways, teach me your path. Guide me in your truth and teach me. He's saying it over and again. For you are my God and my Savior, my hope every day and all day long. So I want us just to be thinking about that. David had something in that proverb that he was communicating to us, and it's simply that the path is his. We follow him. Jennifer, I think, just posted that scripture up there. Thanks, hon, for doing that. But I just want to remind you, Psalm 25, verse 4 and 5. Let me leave you with one last one. My son and I, we had knives made for, I had knives made for him for his 18th birthday, and they're Benchmade knives, and we keep them in our pocket. And, I wanted to, on each of them, it says Tender Warrior on one side with our name. And then on the other side of the knife is a proverb. And it's a proverb that most of you know, but I just want to remind you of it right now. And that is simply Proverbs chapter 3, 5 and 6. And Jennifer will put that up as well. But trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your understandings, but in all your ways acknowledge him, and he will direct your paths. So mountains or no mountains, he is the director of paths. He loves you, and he will be the one that is that light and that lamp for your path. So blessings to you guys so much. We are just so grateful that we got to hang out. And of course, we've got just a couple minutes left so that we get to do dad jokes.
We wrap up with a little laugh.
That's right. Dad jokes.
All right, rock, paper, scissors. Who goes first?
Ooh, okay.
Rock, paper, scissors.
Ooh, all right.
Oh, I just touched your hand.
Oh, sorry. COVID.
So the other day, my dad, he was totally bragging about these new hearing aids that he got. He's like, this is top of the line. Cost him a fortune. I was like, wow. I mean, that's pretty cool. What kind is it? He said, well, $230.
Jeez. That's pretty good. That was good. Okay. I like that. That's not bad. Not bad. All right. What do you call two monkeys who share an Amazon Prime account?
I don't know.
Prime mates. That's pretty good. Yeah. Prime mates. Okay. All right. Well, a couple dad jokes for you to take into your conversations over this next week. We just want to say thanks for interacting with us live or listening on the Restream. We created this venue to provide a practical and interactive way to help you and others live out the gospel. If you love our show on this time and you want to stand with our mission, please consider giving a tax-deductible donation to Eternal Impact at eternalimpact.org. That's www.eternalimpact.org. Until next time, friends, we genuinely pray that the joy of life and the gift of His grace will be tangible in and through you as you live it out. Blessings.
God bless you.